And so I was surprised to hear you use the term because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words migrate.
Why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice, who's not for that? But words do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want.
Okay.
Because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left? But don't tell me the left
had... Or maybe the super far right.
Well, he's talking about the left. Well, then
okay, but we talked about that.
Bill Maher just did the one thing Sonny Hostin never seemed ready for. He didn't soften the moment or hold anything back. There was no gentle introduction and no careful setup. Instead, he challenged her argument on national TV with such sharp timing that even people on her own side were left without much to say. But before we get further into today's video, do me a quick favor and subscribe to our channel. Have you done that yet? Great, now let's jump right back into the video.
Trump is almost the same age as him,
I know.
But Trump doesn't present that way. You know, you look at somebody right away, you can kind of just sum them up. I mean, we are not young, but we don't present as old.
Yeah.
Biden does. I saw him yesterday making that speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, he's cadaver-like.
But his brain is good. He's still great.
Well, here's what I said. Like, when I came back after the strike in September, I said he should get out because he's just lost the faith of people. It's not fair. He's actually done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
But I said he's going to be Ruth Bader Biden. That's the term I use. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She stayed too long at the fair. I remember Obama had her over to the White House, like in 2013, to hint, you know, hey, spend more time with the grandkids. That would not be a good idea, Ruth. And she didn't take the hint, and she was not in good health, and she stayed too long, and she ruined her legacy and got the Supreme Court now to be a pretty right-wing organization.
Right from the start, Maher does something the mainstream media almost never does. He says Biden looks old. Not maybe, not if you have to look twice. He says voters can already see it. That matters because the whole media machine keeps asking people to ignore what is right in front of them and repeat the same approved talking points. Maher is not defending Trump here. He is doing something even more uncomfortable for TV personalities. He refuses to go along with his own side, and that is exactly why this moment hit so hard.
But it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're...
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
Yeah.
So the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words migrate.
So why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice, who's not for that? But words do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want.
Okay.
Because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left? But don't tell me the left
had... Or maybe the super far right.
Well, he's talking about the left. Well, then
okay, but we talked about that.
Then comes the dodge. Hostin hears criticism of woke politics and quickly turns it into criticism of justice itself. That is the trick. Maher says the meaning of the word has changed. She responds as if he attacked civil rights, but he didn't. He was criticizing a modern political style that uses moral language like a shield. That is why this moment stands out. It reveals the tactic in real time. If every criticism of left-wing excess is treated as opposition to justice, then real debate is over and honest conversation disappears.
And I can't say it enough. I think they're the bigger threat. But don't tell me that the left hasn't changed. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a joke. But,
Too dark.
Well, maybe it is, but it's true. I mean, you know, if I had any doubt that I was right about the change that's happened in the left, watching people protest for a terrorist organization like Hamas, that straightened me up pretty quick.
This line hits because it cuts through the fake innocence. Maher is not saying the right suddenly became better. He is saying the left changed, and a lot of people noticed it. When things reach the point where people can no longer tell the difference between liberal values and supporting harmful behavior, that is not progress. It is moral confusion presented as wisdom. Critics argue this is exactly why so many voters stop trusting the language used by the elite media.
I mean, it's just astounding to me that they can't tell the good guys from the bad guys. I mean, just morally. I mean, let me tell you, if you're for Hamas, just live in Gaza for a day. And I'm not talking about while the war is on. I mean, before the war. Trust me, you would go running and screaming and begging to live in Tel Aviv, a place that has your values. I mean, women have no, I mean, this is a show watched by a lot of women. Women have no rights in this place and a lot of majority Muslim countries around the world. I mean, there is no equal rights as far as speech, dress, opportunities for education, reproductive rights, freedom from sexual violence, freedom from sexual harassment.
The LGBTQ community as well.
Yes. That too. But you throw around the term apartheid. There is a gender apartheid in a lot of the world.
This is where the polished script starts to fall apart. Maher pulls the conversation away from slogans and brings it back to the facts. He points to women's rights, gay rights, free speech, basic freedoms, and the harsh reality of life under Hamas rule. That is the clear difference between performance politics and real-world politics. Hostin wants the discussion to begin with emotion. Maher wants it to begin with principles. And once those standards come into focus, the big moral performance starts to lose its strength.
Because it's a war and they were attacked and they're defending themselves. Now, this is a war. Do you think Hamas needs to be destroyed? This is the question.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
So how can we do that with a ceasefire?
All right. So Hamas needs to be destroyed because they are a terrorist organization who say openly that they want to commit genocide on the Jewish people, on the state of Israel. That's what from the river to the sea means, okay? And they say it very openly. They said, we did this attack. They've attacked Israel 5 times. They've started 5 wars since they were given that land back. They could have chosen to turn that place into any place they wanted to, and they took a lot of money that they took from the international community, and they spent it on bombs and guns and building tunnels. So if they need to be destroyed, how do we do that? It's a war. I don't know how to do that, and you don't know how to do that. I assume the Israeli... Of course, everybody is, but that's what happens in a war. Here's a way to stop that. Stop attacking Israel.
Notice what happens when the facts become uncomfortable. The focus changes. It stops being about who started the war and turns into how terrible war looks on television. That is a common move in media discussions. The bloodshed is real. The suffering is real. But that does not erase the chain of cause and effect. Maher's response is tough, but it is also straightforward. If you agree that Hamas must be defeated, then stop acting like there is some clean, perfect version of that battle. This is the moment where selective outrage becomes clear.
I think a conservative once said to me, what you guys in the liberal side of it don't get about Donald Trump is we don't like him either.
Yeah.
It's just that in this country, it's binary. I mean, gender may not be binary, but politics is. You only get 2 choices. And the stuff that they are afraid of, they see Donald Trump as a bulwark against, you know? And that stuff is a lot closer to the home. It's like my kid is coming home from school, and they're not allowed to tell me if they're transitioning. The school is going to take the side of the kid over the parent. Stuff like that. There is a lot of crazy stuff on the left. This book, there's stuff that each side is going to like and probably stuff they're not going to like so much in there, because that's the answer to the Donald Trump situation is what's going to get him elected is this woke stuff that a lot of people in this country just don't go for.
This may be the strongest moment in the entire interview. Maher says something many Democrats are uncomfortable saying out loud. He argues that some of the more extreme ideas on the left end up helping Trump. That is the point the panel does not want to face, because admitting it also means admitting that bad ideas within your own side can carry a real political cost. Hostin wants the conversation about danger to go in only one direction. Maher says no. Trump can be dangerous, yes, but the left's own excesses can still add fuel to the fire. That is not betrayal, it is reality.
You know, it's just nothing.
Yeah.
And it's narrative over truth. You know,
Yes.
I mean, it's not like when I hear people talk on either side of it, I always think they're lying. They're just telling me half of it.
Yeah.
And I never trust them anywhere until I check out the other half.
Yeah.
And there it is, summed up in one simple line. The narrative comes before the truth. That is the real problem. The story matters more than the facts. The label matters more than the outcome. And loyalty to the group matters more than facing reality.
Because this is a word that's triggering, but I mean, those concepts that are different than they were 5 years ago. I mean, we used to do, well, you did it. I was a guest on what was the homeless show? Comic Relief.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
You were, great show.
Yeah.
And homeless was a term that I thought we kind of came up with because people were calling them bums and vagrants and hobos.
Now that's
homeless. Now, no.
It's unhoused.
Well, it's people
Unhoused.
experiencing homelessness. But they're experiencing it on the street.
Yeah.
Okay, the liberal view of that was for compassion's sake. We're the liberals, we're compassion. Let's get these people off the street.
Yeah.
That's not the view of the, whatever word we're gonna come up with for this. Their view of the homeless is they're an endangered species that needs to be protected in their natural habitat. Living their best life under a bridge.
Maher then shows how this kind of word game plays out in real life. Helping people is no longer enough. Now every word has to be carefully changed too. Homeless becomes unhoused. Then, even that is not considered enough. Before long, the focus is no longer on fixing the problem. It is about sounding compassionate while the problem stays exactly where it is. That is the real issue. Image matters more than results. It becomes moral theater. And Maher's point is simple. If your politics cannot fix basic problems because you are too busy polishing the language, then your politics has lost its purpose.
We don't have a lot of time, but for me, the bottom line is that the term woke is now being used to ridicule people who are advocating against social injustice. And I think it's become, sort of co-opted into this alleged culture war. And I was quite frankly insulted by what Bill Maher had to say. I think he completely missed the mark in so many ways. And we don't have time for me to outline them, but he just missed the mark.
This clip stands out because Hostin does not respond to the main point. Instead, she says she felt insulted. That is the move. The argument is weak, the emotion is strong, and there is no real rebuttal, only offense. Once that becomes the standard, the person making the stronger point ends up being treated like the villain.
Nothing? No. Is this some? The Mandalorian's Gina Carano is a person I'd never heard of and resent that I have now. She's some conservative wrestling chick who kicks ass on a show I wouldn't watch if I was in prison. And she made some Nazi analogy. Who doesn't these days? You're like the Nazis is the new I don't like you.
Maher has been making the same point for years. When the truth clashes with the approved story, it is the truth that gets pushed to apologize. That single line explains this whole clash with Sonny Hostin better than any panel discussion ever could.
But if he was alive today, he would too. And if you weren't alive, if you were alive then, you wouldn't. Portland Public Schools has a plan now to teach kids that the idea of gender being mainly binary was brought here by white colonizers. The curriculum guide says, when the United States was colonized by white settlers, their views around gender were forced upon the people already living here. Not even Star Trek would try that story. Where they discover a planet and give them separate bathrooms. It's like they finally discovered a unified theory of wokeness, incorporating all their ideas about race, gay, gender, and colonizers, like the New World was a great big diverse dance club and the Pilgrims were the bridge and tunnel crowd who came in and ruined everything.
And this is the bigger picture behind the whole debate. Maher is saying there is a culture of pressure around elite politics and much of the mainstream media. Think the wrong thought, use the wrong word, or question the wrong accepted slogan, and suddenly you become the problem. That is why this exchange with Hostin matters beyond just one episode of The View. It reveals a mindset that expects people to fall in line, smile, repeat the approved language, and never question the narrative. Maher refuses to follow that script. And once one person calmly refuses to play along, the whole carefully built moral image starts to look surprisingly thin. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like and share this video. Also, hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon so you never miss our latest updates. Thanks for watching our video, and take care.